Well, let's take some time and talk more about the difference between sales and marketing. I think for a lot of businesses, especially if you don't come from a background of an MBA or sales or marketing background yourself, this idea that there's sales and there's marketing, I think get confused in the minds of a lot of business owners just because they're not sure what constitutes the difference between sales and marketing. So Jason, why don't you take this and just say talk about what is that difference between sales and marketing? How do we define those two and kind of where's the line between them?
Sure. No, let me first say this.
Go ahead.
I am not a marketing expert. Okay. My expertise lies more on the sales side. Also, yeah, there are some pretty significant differences depending on the industry, right? There are some industries that they can make all the sales they need based on the marketing that they're doing, right? So let's keep that in mind that some industries are a little different. So my answer is going to be a little bit higher level, a little bit more broad, okay? But so my kindergarten brain can understand it. The way I've always looked at it was marketing is what can help generate some leads, right? Get some eyes on the business, generate some interest, okay? But one thing I look at with my clients, obviously I'm focused on the sales side. My belief is, all right, if you've got sales and marketing, if you're the salesperson, if your company has a marketing department that is actually bringing leads to your plate, you should look at that as icing on the cake and a complete bonus, right? Sometimes I've run into people where they're depending solely on their marketing department. No, that should be part of it. But I think sales need to be doing their part as well to go out there and generate stuff. So at a very basic level, marketing has helped generating leads in different ways. And the salespeople are the ones that turn it from a lead to a suspect, to a prospect, to a qualified prospect, and then potentially a client, right? So yeah, of course I'm biased towards sales. Marketers are amazing. Again, they do things I don't understand how it all works. But here's what I've seen. With the best of intentions, I have seen some business owners dump tons of money into marketing when their sales team is not very good. Okay, so they're thinking, oh yeah, hey, we're closing 1 out of 100. So if we get 500, we'll close 5. Well, no, what can be done to focus on the 100, right? What can we do with the salespeople? Do you have the right people on your team, right? Are they doing the right things? Do they have the right attitudes, behaviors, and techniques to maximize the opportunities that are presented to them? So again, I think marketing is awesome, and I think they are a wonderful group of folks, and they do, again, tremendous stuff. But I have seen that sometimes where business owners focus in the wrong area. And my belief is, hey, let's make sure you've got as strong of sales team and sales engine as you can, then enhance the marketing efforts to just pour gas on that fire once it's going, if that makes sense.
No, that totally does. I think that's a good way to look at it, because really they're not completely separate. They do overlap to an extent. And I think that's where a lot of business owners do get confused with that. But like what you're saying is your marketing departments are more, if you look at like the sales funnel, okay, the process, those steps that people go through from, awareness, meaning they just figured out you even exist as a company, to looking at like consideration of, oh, they can help me with certain things, to getting closer to that sell. The marketing has a tendency to be better at the higher level area of the funnel of the branding and building the awareness and getting people out there. So marketing is helping you to put your logo on stuff, like here's it's not going to show up real good, but it's we have a water bottle with our logo on it, that's marketing.
Yep.
That's putting putting a wrap on your car. That's marketing. Putting billboards up and things like that. That's marketing. It's helping you to be in front of people. And then from there, helping them to find where they can learn more about you and what you do. And then that turns into a lead. And then sales takes over for that lead, basically. So that's where the salesperson comes in and gets on the phone or gets on the email or text or whatever medium you're using to communicate with the customer, and helps take that customer individually from just kind of tire kicking it, like what you're talking about, just getting that initial understanding, and then guides them through the process to become a customer, help match needs, what is our feature set or benefits we have and the problems they have, and pulling all that together. So that's a good way to look at it. From a retail standpoint, marketing gets people to the store. The salesperson is the guy in the store who closes that deal and works with them on that. And so I think that's a good way to look at it. Like we were talking about, the high level view of that's kind of how it works. But they do overlap, because in today's world with digital marketing out there, with lead generation opportunities and other things, marketing can do some of the sales and generate a qualified lead that's ready to buy, or because everything's online, you can do marketing and not talk to a person. They can come buy products at your store, online. They go to your online store, they go to Amazon to buy your products and things. And there's not necessarily technically a sales person or sales team involved in that at that point. And I think that's where some businesses get confused, because they think, I don't need sales. And you always need sales. What you're doing is using your marketing to fulfill the process all the way through. And on the same token, a salesperson doesn't need marketing. You shouldn't rely on marketing for your leads. If you have salespeople that are just waiting for leads to come in, it's like, no, you got to get out there. And that's the famous saying from Mark Cuban from Shark Tank that he's always talking about, is he wants an entrepreneur that's willing to hustle. And hustle means you're out there beating the pavement, making the sales. And I tell a lot of small business owners all the time, if they're like, well, how do I grow my business? You go knock doors of your customers. If your customer is homeowners, you go knock on their doors. And eventually you'll see enough customers, you'll learn how to attract them. And then you can build ads. Then you can build marketing. Then you know where to do your billboards or TV ads or whatever it is you're doing. But that getting in front of your customer is just the important thing. And that's where salespeople can come in to say, okay, we have marketing and that's great. But even if you don't have a lot of marketing or it's not working well, the salespeople still need to generate their own leads and still need to hustle to get out there to make things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was saying early on, that, there, depending on the industry, everybody's a little different. Here's a prime example. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, right? I mean, just love this guy, right? Well, for example, one of his many things that he does now is he's got an energy drink. Well, this is the joke. The reason why I bring it up, I never had an energy drink in my life. And then all of a sudden he has one, and I see the marketing, and I bought 2 cases the first day it was available, right? So I didn't need to talk to a salesperson, right? Now, granted, they may have had some salespeople go out and talk to distributors. Mm-hmm. Hey, GNC, we want you to carry this. Amazon, we want you to carry this. All that. Okay, that's sure. But for me to purchase that product, I didn't need to talk to a salesperson because of the marketing, right? And so, in today's world, it has gotten so much more different and more sophisticated. And, I've got a good friend. He's the CEO of a company called Fawn Design. They do bags and things like that. Same thing. They don't have salespeople, but man, they are really going after marketing, right? And they're talking about the difference of, okay, well, you got Google ads over here, or if you've got an influencer, and I hate that word, but you know what I mean? And they talk about your product and all that stuff. Now it's going to drive people to the website, right? So marketing sometimes is the sole engine of generating sales. That is absolutely possible depending on the industry and the company. But when marketing and sales coexist at the same organization, that's kind of what we were talking about, and how they're separated and how they can work together.
Totally. That makes total sense. And I think too, because businesses, I think probably the biggest challenge between understanding these two concepts is the reality that the average business owner has zero expertise at either one of them. Mm-hmm. Most people that get into business, especially in small business, they're good at what they do. They're good at building a widget or whatever it is, or a service. Yeah. I can mow tons of lawns. I love taking care of people's lawns, or whatever that is. And then they're good at it, but then they've got to think, how do I get it out there? So they just rely on word of mouth. So they're hoping their customers will do the marketing for them. Yep. And that's not a bad idea. I mean, that's really the whole crux of social media marketing, is getting your customers to do the marketing for you. But I think they get confused as, I'm just going to do some marketing so that I don't have to do sales. And I think that's a big misnomer, because you can attract the leads, which is great. If I'm a lawn care service, to go back to that analogy, and I run an ad, whether that's through Facebook or wherever, and say, hey, I've got this special we're doing, get us on, and I get 10 people on there, I still have to talk to that customer to close the rest of that deal. Even though they do sign up, there's no guarantee that they're not going to cancel. So I still have some sales and still have to work with that. So what I recommend to businesses is, of course, work on understanding how to get to your target audience using media services. So that's social media, that's digital print, all those kinds of things. What's the way to get at them that way? But then realize there's still a sale that has to happen.
Yeah.
That's where, and really a customer service person is sort of a sales person. So if you're not training your customer service people to think in terms of sales, you're
Yeah.
missing the boat. Because even if you have, oh, hey, we're a lawn care service and we mow your lawn every 2 weeks for, 3 months through the summer, that's great. But you know what? What if you offer other services? You need to talk to your customers about upsells and follow-up sales and referrals. So there's how you use, every business needs sales and marketing, but how you use it, like what you're saying, is different. So some companies, you have both in there. You've got marketing that's that's generating a ton of leads. Then you've got the salespeople like The Rock. He is the face of marketing for his business. He's putting it out there, but he can't go talk to the people at Walmart to say, I want to get into every store across the country. He's not going to Bentonville to do that interview. Although I'm sure the people that do those interviews would love for him to show up in Bentonville to do that. But that's the thing, is he's got a team that is working with, Targets and Walmarts and all those stores to get into their systems. And, even we think of like Coca-Cola, that's what they do. They used to market the heck out of themselves, and now they focus on branding because they've built so much. They've psychologically programmed us to think about their product so much that the brand recognition is just amazing. So now they just focus on brand recognition, but they have a salesperson, and their job is to talk to restaurants. Their job is to get contracts with universities and others to push their products more. So you do need both, but how much you need both is the question, I guess, because if you have a small budget, like if you're just starting out and you're struggling and you're not quite sure what to do, honestly, the best thing you probably can do is invest your time and go knock doors.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. It's low cost. You just go out and do it. Or if you can find some good salespeople who are willing to work on 100% commission, so long as there's a good, solid back end for them, you can get some value out of that. Otherwise, if you do a short commission, you're not going to get the right kind of person to do your sales. So we could almost do a whole other video just on commission sales, really.
Absolutely.
I think those are some of the things, for business owners to really think about, like what you're talking about, is how much you need each of those is the question. And you have to look at those factors of, what is my budget? How fast do I need to get closes coming in? What do I need to do to attract these people? What's going to be the medium to go after them? And then that helps pull that together, decide, okay, here's how much sales versus marketing I'm going to need to do for my business. But it's not about, I don't want to do sales. I hate sales. I'm not a good salesperson. I don't talk to people. So I'm just going to do marketing. That's not going to be good for your business, honestly. And if you're going to be a business, you need to learn how to talk to people.
Absolutely. And the last thing I'll say about this around marketing is there needs to be some metrics, right? We need to make sure, if you're a business owner, every dollar you spend, there needs to be a reason for it. And are you getting a return if there should be a return, right? Now, for example, in my world, I don't expect any marketing I do to be the reason that the sale is closed, but the marketing should generate some leads, right? If it's not bringing leads, what's the point?
Yeah.
And so at any rate, again, every industry, every company is a little bit different. But if there are business owners out there that are going to invest in marketing, make sure that you are clear about, like if you're working with a third party, have that conversation up front. Hey, what are the proper expectations? How are we going to measure this? How are we going to know if this is going well, right? What are realistic expectations, right? If the marketing company knows, hey, it takes about 3 or 4 months to really gain some traction, well, then it's not fair for the business owner to say, well, in the first 2 weeks, you need to generate X. So making sure you're there. But just something else I want business owners to think about, especially around marketing, because in sales, that's easy. Is the salesperson doing what they're supposed to be doing? Are they selling or are they not? That's pretty black and white. And we should have a similar mindset with marketing. Again, what are we going to measure? How are we going to know that it's working, that we're being successful? When do we need to make some changes, things like that. So just some things to think about for anyone that is going to engage in marketing, either they currently are or they're going to engage in it more than they have in the past.
I totally agree. Totally agree. That's in fact the approach that we take with what we do is we just walk in when we work with the business and anticipate that's the conversation we need to have is what are your goals? What are your expectations? And then here's what we believe is reasonable to help you in reaching those. And that's what we track and measure and make sure it's going in the right direction for that purpose. Because like what you said, if it's not helping you to grow your business, then you need to rethink why are you paying for that?
Yeah.
And whether that's anything in marketing or anything in sales or, really anything in your business, honestly,
Yep.
why, if it's not helping your business to move towards your goals, then what is the point of that expense? So that's just a really good question I always ask. So I appreciate you bringing that up. So thanks for that. So just kind of a recap on this, guys. Sales and marketing are both very important, and you should not be afraid of either one of them. Okay. If you struggle with this, and obviously Jason has some spectacular coaching that can help out in teaching you how to open up, how to get out of your shell, to talk to people. If you're a business owner, this is super important because you're not just selling your customers, you're selling employees, you're selling your investors. You've got a lot more people, a lot of different types of sales you have to make to keep your business moving forward. So in dealing with people is a key to success in business. So the more you can deal with people the proper way, the better. So his coaching is going to be great for you to do that. And then realize that as you do that and you work on that, always be willing to ask questions. Anything in marketing, hey, what about this? How's that going to help me get my goals in my business? How do I measure if that's going to be effective or not? Always ask those questions. And if you work with a marketing company on any type of marketing, it doesn't matter what it is, if they won't answer those, if they dodge those questions, that is probably a good sign that you might not want to work with them. And this is the same with salespeople. If you go to hire a salesperson and you talk with them about this and, what have you done in the past, or how has this worked out, or what could you do, or what would be reasonable, to expect from your efforts to go do this. If they can't quite tell you what's going to happen with that, then you might want to rethink them especially if you're looking for that one killer salesperson. There's people that I know that, man, if you hired them, they would do a great job. They're not cheap, but because they know, they're very confident in their skills that, man, I know how to run those averages. I know that I'm going to go out and knock doors. Jim Rohn gives a really fascinating talk about this. He said in some of his sales trainings, he said that he says, you can put me up against any of your top salespeople in your company and I will beat them all day long. He says, because if I have a closing ratio of 10 to 1, meaning I talk to 10 people, one person buys, and your top salespeople have a closing ratio of 9 to 10. So basically, 9 out of 10 people buy from them, but only 1 out of 10 buys from him. He says, I will win because I know they're going to talk to 10 people and close 9. I'm going to talk to 100 and close 10. So I will win because I know how to run those averages. And so when you've got a good salesman that knows how to do that, they're great. They're well worth their weight in pay to make that happen for you. But if you get someone who doesn't understand that, then you're gonna have to spend a lot more time talking with them and working and coaching with them to make them get to that good point. So you want to be careful of those two. So hopefully this gives you guys some good advice and tips to think through your marketing, your sales, how can you be better with these and how to make them work better for your business. So stay tuned for some more fun videos.
Really appreciate it. I'm Jason Kaywood with Sandler Training. If you need more information or have any other questions, you can go to my website, cc.sandler.com, or just reach out to me directly, 385-256-5069. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Yes, and thank you guys so much for watching these. We want to make sure we provide good, valuable information to you to help you in growing your business. So if you want to follow more of the videos that we have out there, come follow us on YouTube with Smart Social, SMRT. Love to help you out with that. We do social media marketing. So if you need help with doing social media or teaching your team how to do it better with our own coaching or just management, we'd love to help you out with that. So follow us on all the social sites and please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch more videos from us as we continue to provide more value